Hello and welcome back to Design Hustle with Ali. Really excited because in this video I am going to show you how to build your own personal UX design portfolio website with Notion. We are going to take you through all the nuts and bolts step by step, starting from the importance of a portfolio, understanding Notion the tool, structuring the portfolio page, adding sections, creating case studies, using AI tools and prompts, creating an About Me page, downloading the resume page, publishing the site, and the bonus download, where you might be able to download everything that we do today for free. So without further ado, let's get started. Alright, so before we get started, let's talk about the importance of having a UX design portfolio. Of course, you might have several reasons to do that. As a professional, what you want to do is you want to put it together in a way that you can tell a story, a narrative. That's what UX portfolios are for. It's about case studies. It's not about just pretty pictures. It's about showcasing that you can solve a problem. The whole idea behind building this website is that we will be using a free tool called Notion. And as you can see, Notion is a digital workspace that you can do a lot of things in. You can build stuff. It might look pretty complicated, but I will take you through all the nuts and bolts, so you don't have to worry about that. So moving from Notion, the tool, to structuring the page. A portfolio website comes in several different formats. As you can see, over here I've made three possible structures, page structures that might come in handy. You can have different ways of organizing the information on the top fold, which is the page. For this particular project, the site that we're going to build is going to be based on this particular structure. And this is the file that I'm going to share with you at the end of the video, so you can download and tweak as much as you can for your own portfolio. The way we've structured this page is pretty simple. So on the top, there's going to be a statement, then there'll be a hero image, a blurb about you, yourself, some sort of social proof, the companies that you've worked with, or some sort of testimonials, then the actual case study, a contact area, and then the footer itself. Okay, now let's jump to Notion. So this is what a new Notion page looks like. You can go to Notion and say Command N to start a new page. We're going to use this page to create the structure of a website. So what I like to do is, when I start off, I don't really care about the title. We can call it the personal website for now. And when we go down, let's try to create all the different sections that we spoke about. So we will add a statement, then there'll be a hero section. So roughly, this is what the whole structure is going to be, as I showed you. This helps us to visualize what the page is going to look like. You click here, enter, dash 3 times, and it creates a line. Right, we're done with that. Okay, now let's start with creating the navigation. So what I like to do with navigation is pretty simple. In the footer area, because that's where it can live, we can press enter, then you see this plus sign or backslash. We are going to create a new page, which is here. Now this page could be about me, which is great. Now we can go back to the main page. Then we're going to add another page, new page. We're going to say resume. So maybe there's a page where you can download your CV directly. It just helps the people to see what you've been doing. Okay, now let's call this navigation. Okay, 2 pages and the home page itself. So what I like to do is I like to select navigation, and I'd like to create a toggle list. A toggle list is automatically going to help me put everything inside the toggle, which is great. Now I can sort of hide all these pages. I've just copied an image of the page that we're going to replicate, so we can go back and forth, up and down, to see the stuff that we need to do, right? All right, so this is what the heading looks like. So let's start creating the statement. Once we're done typing the statement, you select this, you see this text, Let's call it a heading 1. Okay, now this is the hero image. I recommend you using your own photograph. But for this video, I'm gonna just drag and drop some of these assets that I've already saved. Alright, so this is the hero. So as you can see, something really interesting happened. You see this aspect ratio is very different from the aspect ratio that we're using here. So what we can do is by clicking on the image, you see these controls on the top. You can click on crop image, and then you can manually crop this image roughly to a rectangular form. You save it, and what it's going to do is it's automatically going to compress things the way we want them to be. Sometimes it takes it's a little fussy. There you go. One thing to add with the statement is always an email address, which I really like. So let's say, and right next to it, and the location. Okay, now let's look at the blurb. So for the blurb, I have a very simple way of doing this. Let me drag and drop something that I created for you. So what you can do is you can start off with, hi, my name is XYZ. I'm a designer based in the location, and I'm currently working as a title at the company doing exactly what, which is your role or your position. So now we're going to fill this up. Once we have the blurb in place, we can select this, make it into a heading 2. Yeah, looks good. And again, a cool thing that you can do is to directly hyperlink this. So you go here, you say add link, and I would say www.google.com and get a hyperlink. So when anyone visits this, they can click here and go to the website. Moving on to social proof. So social proof, as you can see, is somehow you mentioning the companies that you worked with, because that builds confidence. If you don't have that, that's fine. You can skip this section. However, I highly recommend coming up with some sort of a way that you can show this. So for this one, I've created an asset. I'm just going to bring that in. Voila, there you go. You can say trusted by. You're probably wondering why it's so light. It's because we will eventually have a dark themed website, so the contrast is going to make it look really nice. We're going to skip case studies for now because this is the most important part, and we'll go to the easier part. So contact. Let's add some text and a direct link to your email. Right, as I told you, you can select email, create a link, your email at email.com, whatever that is. It just adds this link, so anyone who clicks here is going to open the email and send you a link, right? And okay, let's select this and make this again into heading 2. So it's starting to become really nice. We've already got the footer. So in the footer, what I like to do is add some sort of social media links. So LinkedIn, Opa, and then we say, let's say YouTube, and maybe Instagram. And over here, again the same thing, link, copy paste your link, select, add link, copy paste your link to YouTube, copy paste your link to Insta. So this one's easy. Okay, moving on. Let's do a little bit of a cleanup. So since the statement is actually the title of the page, so I'm just going to copy this and paste it here. So this becomes the title, then your address. This becomes, I would say, the second line. You can drag and drop it here, and I can get rid of this. Just cleaning this up before we move ahead. We don't need the hero text anymore. So now this is starting to look much better. This I'm going to remove. This was for you guys to understand. Then we have the trusted by. That's great. Maybe trusted by could be bold. Yeah. Case studies, we're coming to it. Contact, we don't need the text. We just make it move up one more, and we say, okay, if it changes, that's fine. I don't know why it changes though. Sometimes it just changes the text, which is okay. All right, so starting to resemble the page that we have, right? So design, da-da-da. After adding sections, we are finally going to move into creating case studies. This is the most important part and the most enjoyable part as well. So before we move ahead, I'd like to sort of explain what the anatomy of a case study is. What you're going to see right now is my way of looking at it, right? It's like an MVP, like we talk about the minimum viable properties per se. When it comes to a case study, what I figured out is we need about 5 sections clearly detailed out, and of course I can make a completely detailed video on how to create a UX case study. If you need that, let me know in the comments below. But just to give you an overview, there's a project overview we need to show, and then there's a research and discovery phase we need to showcase. We've gone through that, design process and solutions, user testing and iterations, and what were the outcomes and what are your reflections. These are the sections that we're going to include into our Notion case study database. Okay, back to Notion. So what I'd like to do right now is to create a database for case studies. Of course, there are multiple ways of doing this, but this is how I like to do it. So what I do is in navigation, I go down and I add a new page. Let's call this case studies. So this sort of has a clean structure to it. So I do enter, and over here I will create a new database. So I would say, okay, let's do an inline database. And if you remember, and what we're trying to do here is to create a table of properties, and the properties were industry, location, role, skills, duration. One way is to start adding them here. So what we can do is I can say company. Let's do a company tag. Then I'm going to go down, edit property. What sort of a company? What is it going to be? It has to be a type of a text. So free text you can add in, and I go click on the icon, and then I'm going to say, okay, let's put a briefcase here. So this looks nice. All right, so next, industry. So for this we need a property type which is also text in the USTRY. Then we're going to do this, select an icon, create. Let's add another one. So this time it's location. Let's do it the other way around. It's a text, and we say location, and we do this, and we find like maybe a pin. Looks good. Okay, then we add role, which is also a text field. Sorry, RE. Let's keep it like this. And then we do skills. Okay, for skills we need somehow multiple tags that we can select. So what we need to do is we need to create a multi-select property. And over here we're going to call it skills and say, okay, this one we can change to, I don't know, a bow and arrow, because that requires skills. Okay, our options: UX design, UI design, user SEARCA, wireframing, and so forth. So you can add like however many you want, right? So into the next one, which is duration. After this, you go into the next one and you add duration, which is also text. Done. So looks good. This is the main structure, and what happens is when you want to add an entry, you can directly add an entry here. But what I like to do is I like to add a new entry from here. The way I like to do this is to create templates for creating new projects. So every single time we have the same properties. For that, I like to create templates. So in order to create a template, you create a new template, and let's call it a new project template. However, we're going to add one more property, which is going to be the featured image, and I'll tell you why a little later. So once we have this as a new project template, Then we say, okay, this is done, and we click out, and every time now we do new, there's a new project template over here, right? And I'd like you to click on the three-dot menu and put this as default. So every single time anyone adds anything new, it just becomes a default. And now we're going to change the view of this to make it look like these styles that were there. So if you go up into the table view, this is the view, and you say, okay, let's add another view, and we say, let's add what we call the gallery view, which is great. Now all the three empty things that we added, they sort of show up like this. So just to show you what this looks like, so we say new, we add new template, we say Google Ads Designer, for example. We say, okay, Google, and we added duration, industry, so forth, right? So yeah, and then we drag and drop an image and we close it, right? So this is what it looks like. So immediately the image that you dropped sort of shows up here, which is great. However, you can control this in a much better way. So let me show you what that means. So I'm going to go here, new, edit the actual template. So over here, I'm going to add a media. So file and media, and I'm just going to say featured image. So every single time I want a feature image to be represented in the thumbnail, I'll just add that image over here. So I'm just going to move this property down here, and I'll show you what that means. So I'm going to click out. So in this case, we have the Google's Ad Designer. That's great. However, if I go and add a featured image, and I choose a file, and I say, okay, let's do. So what I did was I added a featured image. However, there's another image that was showing as a thumbnail over here. So let's see what happened. Nothing happened. So there's a small little thing we need to do in order to make sure that the feature image shows up on the thumbnail. We go back to the layout editing. We click on layout view. There's a gallery view. That's great. Now we're going to say card size. Right now it's medium. You can make it small. You can make it large, depending upon you. You can make it fit the image because, depends on aspect ratio. Or you can open it as a full page, of course. But there's a very interesting thing. So for the card preview, we have page content. That's why this is showing. You can actually show it as the featured image, and you see how it's just changed. This is the image that we uploaded. All right, let's go back. We have added a few projects here. I'm going to go back to our home page, which is this one. So as you remember, we added information in case studies, which was a database that we created. So going back, what we're going to do is in this area where we added this section for the case studies, we are going to create a relational database. So what do I mean by that? It's going to reference the one that we've already created and create an image of that. So I'm going to say go down to where the databases are, and we say linked view of the database. So the database that we created is just going to have a linked view. I'm going to click here. It's going to ask me which one are you looking for. We're going to say, yeah, case studies, this one, I'm going to click here, and it automatically shows up. So this is how easy it is. So what I like to do is, you see this text, I just like to sort of remove it from here. So I'm saying I don't want to see the title, which is great. It's nice and clean. So I can go into the layout, and I can go down, show page icon, and switch that on and off. So if you add an icon, if you want to show some sort of an icon, you can do that. I don't like to do that, so I can do this. If you want to show the company name and other information over here, what you can do is you can go here, you see the properties. Right now, only the name is showing. So what you can do is you can start adding more fields to this, and as you can see, more information starts to show up. I like to have it compact. So maybe let's get rid of the thing and go back. My choice of AI tools is mostly Claude or ChatGPT. For Claude, I'm using a paid version. For ChatGPT as well, because I use it for several other things. So I've created a prompt structure, and this is after a lot of trial and error. You can copy paste this. I've already provided this as part of the template that you can download for free. So that's fine. Don't worry about it right now, but just try to understand what the concept is. So in this case, we are telling the model that, this is the structure that we'd like you to think through, and for each section there should be a maximum of 6 to 8 lines. That's fine, but now start asking me questions section by section, so I can answer, and based on the answers that I provide, start constructing the section. Anything that is missing is going to be filled up by AI, and this is where it becomes really powerful. So I recommend you do it a few times just to see, fine-tune based on the project that you have. And every single time you get a question, just make sure you provide a lot of information, and the rest is going to be taken care of by the AI. So in this case, I go to claude.com, I paste my prompt, and it starts to now create the structure that I needed. So in this one, it just asked me, so what is the main problem or the challenge that this UX project aimed to address, and who was the target audience? So I can say, so this is where I can start adding the information. So as you can see, the first section is done, and now we do the second section. I'm just asking the AI to just fill in with hypothetical information, so you sort of understand how this is done. So instead of me actually sitting down, taking the time to construct each and every single part, I now am asking Claude to sort of add this information myself. This is how you're going to leverage AI tools to help you craft a good case study. Let's talk about creating the About Me page. So that's the next page that we'll be doing. So we have the overall structure for the home page more or less there. We can do the fine tuning and so forth, but let's do the About Me. So in this one, I've decided to go for a 2-column view. As you can see over here, this is the one single column that you see all the text goes in. In this one, I decided to sort of switch things up and also to teach you how 2 columns and 3 columns are added in Notion, and how to achieve the same in Notion. We're going to go down to the navigation where we created an About Me page. We enter, and then over here, as you can see, this is a single column. So what we want to do is we want to create 2 columns. So I go here and I go down all the way, and I look for 2-column layout. So we're going to create 2 blocks. So block 1 is here and block 2 is here, right? So in block 1, I copy pasted some text, and in block 2, what I'm going to do is I'm going to add an image. Okay, as you can see, the image is here. However, the image is not exactly how we want it to be, so we can adjust this. So, and this is where it becomes really interesting. So what you can do also here is on the top, you can see there's some freeform circle, square, so you can make it into a circle if you wanted to. You can make it into a square. I prefer the square in this case, so I'm just going to do a square. I'm going to just save it here and see what this looks like. It might take a little while for it to readjust based on our layout. Sometimes I don't know why it takes this long, but yeah, there you go. There it is. We have some bullet points below. Okay, let's add the bullet points. After this, we do dash 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 3 times. The section is created, and there you have it. The About page looks pretty okay. But the next one is downloading the resume page. This is pretty simple. What I like to do is I like to create a downloadable link to a particular document that you can have, which is probably your CV, a PDF. That could be like a Dropbox link or an iCloud link. And I'm going to show you how we can do that very quickly. To see how easy it is, we go to resume over here. You can either download the page directly that you can start to see here, or you can have a download link that you then create a link to and add the Dropbox and then it's just gonna get added to it, making it easy for people to download the actual PDF file onto their systems. Alright, so we have the site, more or less it's there. If you're happy to share this, then we're going to go up over here and say publish. And this is where we publish it as a website. It's as simple as clicking this link. However, you will need a paid plan for Notion in order to do that. The good thing is once you pay for it, you can have unlimited sites. So these could be things that you share with your colleagues, people, yourself, anyone. Going back to publishing, so we have this page which is like a white theme where we want a dark theme. Once we publish this, what happens is bang, it's done. So this thing shows that this is live. What we have is a link that you can share now. This link is live. You can share it with anyone. It works. So every time you make a change on your Notion file, it's going to be reflected directly onto the site. You can have, of course, custom domains. So you can have like your name at portfolio.com, wherever. You can go into those details. There is something really interesting, which is the site customization. I would like to show you what that is. You click there, and over there you can start to see that we are in the light mode. So what we can do is Notion lets you make a dark mode. This is now exactly how we want it to be. So I'm going to put it in dark mode. You can change the favicon to, like, let's say your name, your logo, however you want. Favicons are those small little things that show up in the browser when a website is open, as you can see over here. Now what we can do is we can go in, we can see the header, which is this one. You can add the breadcrumbs. I like adding the breadcrumbs, that's fine. Search is not required. I can switch that on and off. Switch off duplicate as a template, because this is not something that you'll be sharing with. Something that we really like to add on the top, we'll say add page. We can say I want to add the resume, and this gets added. It's almost like creating navigation now on the top. So we add the resume page that we created, then we can add the case studies that we created. And then we can add the about me page that we created, and then we can sort of move this, rearrange this. So I can say, okay, this is great, and I publish. The moment I hit publish, you see this sticky banner on the top. This says this site is live at this thing, and you can view the site. So let's see what it looks like. Alright, this is what the page looks like. You've got the header, the statement, you've got the blurb, you've got the social proof, you've got the case studies. I've added some of them for you. You've got LinkedIn, YouTube sitemap, which was the navigation, changed a bit. And the fun part is if you click on any template, what I've added is the AI prompt for you, so you can copy paste this. Then you can add the project overview, all the things that I was talking about. All the structure has been copy pasted as a template that you can add, so it's going to be great for you. So bonus time, so you can download this template exactly how it is, everything done for you. You can add new projects, you can add all the information. It's going to run out of the box. The link is in the description. Go ahead. We created this ourselves together. Now you know how to do it. We've already done it. Go and download this. And that brings us to the end. So I hope you found this useful. Get in touch with me if you have any questions. Go ahead, download this. Okay, I'm tired. This is it for me. I hope you found this useful. On to the next one.